So the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Why don't we get into what we like to do around here? Why don't we, Yeah. Because it's that time to talk about the Bachelorette on our show. Yes, but before we get talking about the Bachelorette YouTube, I'm going to need you to go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content just like this. And if you just did, oh man, huge shout out to you. Ooh-wee, air horns for you. Oh man, we have to shout out our comment crew, and that's anyone that's leaving comments on our video in the last week. The Nancy Drew crew, the OGs. We got Kathleen Kent back in the building. Marion SP missing this week. Catherine Ann and Chelsea Allen. We can't get the whole group together, it seems like, this summer, but at least they're popping in here and there to say what's up, so we appreciate that. And then we got returning Beth Wenger, we got Sunny Days 00, and Mona Walters is back. What's up? It's good to see you in the comments again. And you can get a shout out too. All you got to do is just leave a comment below. If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit subscribe yet, really would appreciate the love, because we're so close to 200 subscribers on YouTube. That'll be a huge milestone for us, and get us on our way to our next one. But shout out to everybody that's already hit subscribe and hit that thumbs up, because it really does help with those YouTube algorithms. You guys know the drill.
Right.
Well, I did want to get into a quick comment of the week from Kathleen Kent since she's back. Hers was really quick and right to the point. She says, "Don't like Aaron," and I kind of wanted to highlight this in the sense that this is an interesting topic I kind of want to talk about this week with Aaron, because with it being so close to the end and him just getting his own like time with his hometown date, he kind of won me over this episode. I'm not gonna lie. So as much as I haven't really liked Aaron B this whole season, I did enjoy him this episode when he's not worried about other people. But it was already a little bit too late for him. So what are your thoughts?
I kind of agree. Like, obviously, I think having him removed from the situation of being in a house with a bunch of other dudes and whatever, and like even when we get to talking about his hometown date, like his dad did ask him like, how were you feeling when you'd watch her go on dates with other guys, and like he like said the whole idea like, oh yeah, I'm sure you were like, like, that's my woman, like take your hands off my woman, which is like, it explained the feelings that obviously Aaron has expressed and shown, and maybe not in the best ways, as we've talked about week after week, with how he seemed a little like he would be all like, I gotta protect my woman, I gotta do whatever, but like it kind of made sense, like all the pieces fell into place for like where he could get that idea. It definitely feels like there's that strong vibe from his dad, and just like how the relationship dynamics are set in his family, and obviously they all like love each other and like are really like close knit. So to me it made a lot more sense seeing like where he could be coming from when he was doing some of this stuff. But I, as we've said, I don't really agree with how he carried it out during, the show.
Yeah. Well, before we get hopping into this week of The Bachelorette, I just definitely want to plug the full podcast. If you guys are enjoying this content here on YouTube, make sure to check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. We talk a lot more about, our lives, what's going on in pop culture. All the stuff you're seeing on your Instagram feeds and stuff, we get into like what's been going on that week and outside of just what's going on in Bachelorette and Bachelor Nation. So I would recommend you guys subscribing to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and you get more content from us, outside of just this, video you see each week from us. But I really appreciate everyone who's already done that. Well, V, why don't we just hop right into it? We're at week 6 of The Bachelorette, and it's hometown week, and, we got a lot to cover. So where do we want to start?
Right. So a hometown week, which is earlier than it's been in seasons past, and even like pretty much until whatever until I think like the pandemic seasons or the seasons used to be even longer. But anyways, so
I mean, totally. I mean, this was definitely just quick feeling. Like, I don't know anybody really. You know, it doesn't seem
I know,
like.
I hate how rushed it's felt. Like, I feel like it's made it hard. Like, and I think this has been a great season, and I think Charity's a really engaging lead. And I just feel like they're not doing like her favors. They're not doing the show favors by like rushing through. And like, usually I'm the one, everybody who's listened knows I'm the one that complains about when they drag shit out for no reason. But we haven't really seen much of that here. And if anything, I feel like we've been bopping around, and I haven't been able to like see the full development of the majority of this top 4. Like,
I mean, usually they go like out of the country and all this different stuff. Right. Like, you know.
Yeah, and they're going out of the country next week for the overnight dates and stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, is this the season where they got rid of Mike Fleiss, one of the producers of the show? Because I mean, I was hearing rumors.
Mike Fleiss, he wasn't gotten rid of. He stepped down to get ahead of the fact that there was some shit coming out.
Yeah,
about him.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was a difference with him not being around or something. I heard also he didn't really want Charity to be the lead this season. So, you know, when changes like that happen, sometimes it affects the overall product, you know, but.
Yeah.
So we got Aaron B. We're in Houston, Texas, and you know, off the bat, they're matching. I was like, man, what an interesting color to match, you know?
Yeah, it's like a weird green, like sort of like a weird in between from like mint to olive, because it's like pastel-y, but not at the same time. And they're both wearing, like, she's wearing a cardigan, he's wearing like a little like button-up situation, like open, like a shacket almost. And I just laugh because, like, the theme for all of these, like, the entrances to each of these hometown dates, it's like I feel like they make them walk, like, the longest distance to each other. It's all, like, let her walk down this path, and, like, you're standing there, and then, like, you can finally meet. And she does the jumpy hug, which is, you know, a Bachelor staple, if you will. Bachelor.
I mean, she's staple. Off the bat, like, kind of like what we've been probably alluding to the last couple weeks of how, I mean, they just keep talking about their first date, which is episode 2, right. And they really haven't gotten, like, much more closer than they already were. So she's really hoping that this is, like, the point where, you know, they can, you know, really solidify their relationship. He's talking about how he hasn't really talked about love yet. And, you know, by hometowns, right. You're supposed to say you love the person, at least on that episode, at the very least. But, yeah, right. That's kind of where we're at.
Right. And, yeah, and you could tell, like, she talks about going into this that she saw him, she's like, from that first date, like, I definitely thought he could be, like, my future husband. And she's like, and now so much has happened, which is the nature of this. So, like, I want to see what meeting his family and everything will be. And they do meet his family first before doing, like, a hometown activity. Mm-hmm. And so they go, and it's his mom, his dad, his 2 brothers. His younger brother is the one who's married to this white woman named Audrey. And
I thought they were both older than him.
Huh?
I thought he was the youngest.
No, he had an older brother and a younger brother, because Eric is his younger brother because he talks to him and asks, you know, they talk about, like, relationships and stuff. And he's like, even though you're my younger brother, I look up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like she really enjoyed, you know, being with the family and stuff. Not much really happens. They have some really good food. The mom's like an incredible cook, and you know.
She makes, I feel like this was something I was saying during my Tipsy Talks. It reminded me a bit of like when they went to Charity's hometown date on Zach's thing, where, you know, they're like emphasizing the soul cooking and everything like that. Cause like they kind of did similar things when it was Charity. They're all like, look at all, we got the greens, we got the whatever, we're in Georgia, we got the soul food. Like, which I think is interesting, and, like, I don't know if it's, like, pandering to the black audience or if it's, like, look, we got it.
I mean, but, I mean, it kind of starts a trend that I noticed in this episode of how, you know, it just felt like she was more comfortable with the black families. Like, you know, it's just, I mean, this is the first time we've had, like, you know, majority
It's the first time we've had a majority of the final 4 be, you know, people of color, especially for a lead of color, because even like when it was like Rachel Lindsay's season and stuff like that, I think it was still more like, I think it was like Eric in the final 4, like whatever. There was maybe less, and Peter. Yeah, I think she only had like one black guy in her final 4. So
yeah.
You know.
So I mean, that one kind of ends like, you know, they do the family thing, and then he takes her to the football field, gets her a Letterman jacket, and they have like, she cries, like, you know what I'm saying? Now
she's an emotional gal. She seemingly cries, but she cries because he plays the song that they had, you know, sung to them by Lauren Elena on their first date together, which to me, I don't know, it's still, they're hanging on to that one thing. They got the one thing to hang on to.
It was pretty nice though. Like I thought the thing is, now in retrospect, after seeing the episode, I can't tell if she's just sad because of how nice it is, or because she knows that like he's probably the one that's gonna go, like, be sent home, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I can't see her crying so much without knowing that like this is probably not the one, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, she definitely is tearing up because I think she knows like how sweet this is, because he says how he's like falling in love with her. And then she had earlier in the day when she was talking to his mom, and she asked, like, you know, if he asked you to marry him today, would you say yes? And Charity said, I don't think I could, but that doesn't mean anything against Aaron. It's just like, where, you know, I don't know if I could make that decision.
Yeah,
right,
she didn't like
second.
that.
Like,
Mama didn't like that.
Which I don't blame Mom, obviously, in this situation, but I also don't blame Charity, because it's like what we've been saying. Like, I knew from that moment when we saw that like that was gonna be something to remember for later in the episode, just because it was like, okay, like, and I wasn't shocked when Charity said that. Like, I knew she was gonna say that, because we, as me and you, and like other viewers, I would think, I kind of don't know, like, it was surprising that Aaron had gotten like that first rose in every rose ceremony for like 3 weeks straight, and like was just like going through. And I wonder if she had been also just hanging on to this whole idea of being like, from like the first date, I really thought he could be my husband. And like, maybe that was her crying to be all like, wait, like, this isn't like panning out exactly how
Yeah, exactly. And also the fact that, like, you know, we had Dotun, who's like one of the first people to ever get back-to-back one-on-ones and stuff. It's just not a good look for someone like Aaron, you know? And so we'll move on to Hometown 2 with Joey. Now, I want to say that, like, before going into this, that I mean, Joey was nice enough, like, you know, for how quick the season's going, but I was never like a huge Joey stan, besides the fact that, like, I thought it was a smooth move that, like, in that makeout, you know, competition early on. But you know, there was nothing that really stood out about him, besides he was just kind of like, all right, he wasn't really causing drama and stuff.
Right.
We take it from Texas. We go up to Pennsylvania and meet with Joey, and you know, he kind of shows her his way of life up there, and it starts off with some tennis.
Yeah, he wants to like show her a part of like what is, you know, a major part of his life, and like where he feels most at ease, which is, you know, coaching people with tennis. That is literally his professional. He is a tennis pro. So
yeah,
he's,
and Charity's,
you know,
like pretty hype about him. Like, you know, she's like,
yeah,
he's cute. This is cuter. That makes him the cutest. Like, she's talking about like wanting to tell him that she loves him, which is,
yeah,
you know,
big deal.
Interesting. Like, why is she saying this about Joey over? She's not really saying that about Dotun or anything, or Xavier.
Yeah, but I feel like she's like more, I feel like her and Dotun have already had like more like emotionally open and intimate conversations just throughout the course of their dates.
I don't know. She was kind of setting it up like it sounded like Joey was the front runner. And
right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, which I found sort of surprising, but like also not, because I could also, I mean, I think he's more similar to the fact that, like, you know, the one that cheated on her was a white dude, I'm pretty sure, from what she talked about, or like whatever. And so I think
But she also said something like this was the first time she was going to meet like a white family of like a significant other. So is this boyfriend like somebody that she just?
I don't know if that's what I thought she said. Like,
this is the first time I'm meeting like a family that is not black. She said, like I thought she said something different to that degree. I thought she meant more of. I thought she was talking more about like the whole interracial bit with dating or whatever, but I mean, I think she was, but she was saying, I think this is the first time, that's why she was so nervous about going to meet his family, because she hasn't really done that with like, I don't know. That's the way I took it. So they're playing tennis and he's teaching her stuff. I'm like, all right, this is kind of boring. Although I was kind of like, I've been playing tennis and I was like kind of taking some tips from him. Like, I'll take some free tips, I guess. But yeah, so then we get another Joe show up and it's Uncle Joey. And yeah, he comes in, I thought he was a cool character, but like he just wasn't feeling like young Joey's actions, I guess. I don't know what he was giving off, but
he wasn't buying young Joey's Riz.
Yeah, no, I mean,
bringing up Riz.
He was like, "Why are you acting so fake, dog?"
Well, he's just like, he went there to like suss out the situation, and honestly, he like wasn't subtle about it, because he gave me sort of awkward vibes, like he was trying to feel them out, but like he was all like, well, it seems like you two are enjoying each other. And they're like, yeah. And like, I'm like, why are you saying it like that? Like, you're making it feel more weird than it already is. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's typical family stuff where they just don't trust the process at all. It's like,
I get.
Yeah, totally. It's just like, you can't be in love. Like I saw you like 3 weeks ago and you were, you guys had never met. So, yeah, I mean, right? It's like, it's got to be like only that much time has passed. It's been like 3 weeks since we've started or something. But
yeah.
But anyways, so Joe, like, they end up going and get ready to go meet the family. And he's got a cute sister. He's got two sisters. Yeah, he's got a brother-in-law there, his mom, his dad, and I don't know, something like his sister seemed normal when she had a conversation, but something felt off about the mom and his conversation. And well,
and it's interesting because they don't really like reference anything again about how the fact that like his parents are divorced because his dad came out as gay, and we get like none of that.
Oh, I forgot. That was like a whole level I didn't even notice. So like, was that
because they don't bring it up in this episode at all, and I'm like all pissed that this is like one of the first ever gay parents on a hometown, and we don't get like any sort of like
wow
mention.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level. I didn't even get to look through that lens of whatever. That's probably why the mom was pretty emotional about her son and marriage and all that, because she's all like, I just don't want you to mess up like I did, probably.
Well, and I think she's more like, it's interesting because she's like very happy. She's all like, you and Ellie are still looking. Like, I feel like marriage is really important to his mom, because the fact that he brought up like, she brought up the other sister and how like they're both like single, and like the older sister, or whatever age sister, the Carly, is married and stuff already. It's all like, look, she did it. What's wrong with you two? Like, get it together. Which I'm like, I don't love that energy.
And
like,
also, know what I don't enjoy? We're all adults here and stuff, but when we get someone broken up with us, like, I mean, obviously your family knows you're sad, but what is it with these like families on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, where they're like, we had to pick up all the pieces, like when this person got broken up with last time and stuff, like, yeah, your family might know how sad you are and stuff, but they're not like sitting there like picking you up off the floor and I know they would.
Unless it was like something crazy, like like your fiance left you,
right?
Or, like,
exactly.
You got divorced, which there have been stories like this on this show.
Sure.
But in all of these situations, none of them got like, they were just like long-term relationships, maybe.
Yeah.
And not even like, it never was brought up that it was anything close to like engagement or marriage or whatever for any of them, when all these parents have been saying similar things. So I'm kind of like, I'm like, okay, picking up the pieces, last time I checked, Homeboy's been living in Hawaii. I think the pieces were nice and blended into a pina colada for him. I think he's Gucci.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
I get it. Like, I get the whole, like, I don't want to see my son or my sibling be, heartbroken, and I don't want to see it, especially in this hugely public forum. But I get how they can see, like, the negative impact of some of, the show and, like, what that could do to you or, like, whatever. But, yeah, I agree. Like, it's not like they've been out here doing the most for, like, a normal breakup. Like, I don't know. I mean, the most my parents have done after I had a bad breakup was talk to me about stuff and then, be all like, encourage me to get back into therapy.
Right. Or send you like a little like pick me up gift or something. It's not like we have to go and check on him every other day or something and feed him. And like, that's the impression that I'm getting from when they talk like that. But
right. And like, no hate, no shade if like something bad happens and like that is like literally what you have to do. But like, that is not the stories that we are being told as viewers about any of like these past relationships with these final four. We've heard about some cheating. We've heard about some whatever. We've heard about whatever stuff like that. But it's never been to the point of all like, I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I was, anything like that.
Yeah.
But,
so that all makes a lot more sense of why Uncle Joey, had a bigger role in this hometown, because first of all, to name your son after, your brother or something like that, that's a big deal. People don't, I mean, I know people, it happens sometimes, like, you got your sibling and you want to name your kid after your like sibling or something like that. But the fact that they both play tennis and everything, and it just seemed like this guy was like a father figure, but he lets Joey know, like, he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like you've just been trying to be like the best, like this version that Charity's gonna like, and I kind of understand what he's saying. I do.
I get what he's saying. He's like, I know you're a people pleaser.
Yes,
but
yeah, and but this is not helping Joey's situation at all. And then he talks to Charity about it, and Charity gets set off like she was on cloud 9 with Joey, and she wasn't really feeling it after all that. She was gonna say she was falling in love with Joey, and that doesn't happen when he says goodbye, and leaves Joey pretty confused, like as far as like the reasons why she was crying, like she wasn't looking him in the eye and all that. So, yeah, that hometown ended interestingly. So
yeah.
We get into
definitely.
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, yeah, it definitely was trying to push the narrative that like somebody who she came in hot with, like being all like, I want to tell him that I'm falling in love with him, which she did tell his sister. She told Carly that, but she didn't tell him that. So like, it definitely like they definitely built it around being all like, ooh, is Joey going home kind of idea, which I think, I get why they were trying to do that.
Totally.
But,
next we get Hometown 3 with Xavier and his family. And let's just run through this one, because this one didn't stand out to me at all. I found myself kind of...
Yeah, they're in Cleveland, Ohio, which, not a lot of standout.
Mm-hmm.
They go to a knitting class. They just chill with these knitting people. They knit. They go to his house, which obviously, like, his family shows a lot of love. His mom's got MS. That's the reason why he's doing the kind of science work that he does, because he's trying to like help figure out, cures to autoimmune diseases and stuff like that. And, his sister is there. His dad's there. His sister, similar to Joey's sister, grabs Charity, does the whole bit with her. And his mom definitely reassures Charity that Xavier wants to be a dad, wants to be a husband, would be great at those. She's like, I don't really know where exactly he's at, but like,
well, it seems like he got some clarity at this moment, because obviously when we see scenes from next week, he's flipping on that again. But yeah, I mean, Xavier doesn't really stand out to me that much. Honestly, I'm like, dude, you're blah to me. No offense, but
he was a dark horse for sure, because he definitely, I feel like, made leaps and bounds with Charity this episode. But and he does say that he's falling in love with her, which is what she was looking to hear from him, because she wants to see if like he really wants to go the distance and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I feel like theirs was just, it was like, oh, their family shows a lot of love, whatever, which I feel like she said about every family. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Let's get to the main thing. Let's get to the main event. Our man, Dotun.
Yeah, hometown number 4. They've really hit the 4 corners, I feel like, with this one.
For real.
But we're in California now, and our guy, this is the guy we're putting our money on.
I'm putting money on him.
I mean, he's pretty great,
I'm afraid
dude.
she might let me down, but I'm putting money on him.
I mean, you can't really hate on him one way or another. It's just, he's such a great guy. He brings his family's there from Nigeria, so he gets to meet, I guess, he doesn't get to meet the parents, right?
So his parents spend every year in Nigeria for like 4 to 6 weeks. So she was like, so he tells her like, my parents, the timing didn't work out, they're in Nigeria, like, it
that's
sucks.
right,
And
that's right.
She's all like, I'm a little not pissed, she's like, I'm a little sad because like this is important at this part of the journey, blah, blah, blah. But, like, totally get it, whatever. And so at first she rolls in, she's meeting, like, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles, and then meets, like, his grandma, who's, like, in the kitchen, just the most, like, wonderful, sweet Nigerian grandmother, like, saying how they're bonded from heaven, like, giving the best grandma hug you could ever get. It looked like I, like, wanted to feel that grandma hug over from the screen. And then they're like sitting there and eating because this grandma chefed up this whole meal for them in true like grandma fashion, and they're sitting there eating, and lo and behold, guess who walks through to meet everybody but his parents, fresh off the plane from Nigeria. So, I'm like, that's insane. I wonder if like ABC paid for that. I wonder if they just like or what? Like that's sort of what I want to know, the logistics. I want to know, like, how did this get figured out? Like, or did like ABC give them like a ring-a-ding being like, hey, we're doing hometowns, and they're all like, and they're like, we'll toss in some money for your flights back from Nigeria if you do this. But
yeah, it ended up working out. But yeah, they end up going to see like a little movie of like childhood. Mm-hmm. Memories and stuff, which I thought was just a great way to end his kind of
great.
arc.
And like she talks a lot about how drive-ins were like her parents' like dates, like go-to dates while they were dating and everything.
Drive-ins,
so, like,
man, are underestimated, underrated. Because they're actually really fun, and they're still around if you get lucky enough.
They are very romantic.
Yeah,
because it's like you're in your own car. You're
bring your own snacks, your own blankets.
Snacks.
Yeah, well, it's always about the snacks.
Cozy, like it's like it's like a movie night. It's like the mix of like a theater and like having like a movie night on your own couch, like perfectly, because it's like you still get like the theater like big experience of a big screen and like just whatever, but like you kind of get more of like the intimacy of just being like with the person you're with, you know?
Yeah. So she checks in with Jesse again right before the ceremony.
Which this is like the only time she's really checked in with Jesse, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, it's one of those things, man. It's the Bachelorette. That's why, it's weird. I feel like I haven't seen him that much this season. So I haven't seen many people this much this season. But so, she pretty much is, says that she's in love with 4 guys, and it's going to be a really hard decision. The rose ceremony takes place in this really dope airplane hangar, so the set looks dope. But let's talk about the roses handed out.
So she hands out, the first rose goes to Dotun, which makes sense, duh. But you could see Aaron's face when he doesn't get that first rose. He's already cracked. Like, he's already like not okay.
Yep.
Because he's been consistently getting that first rose for the last like 3 or 4 weeks practically.
Yeah,
if he
and
didn't
I mean,
already have one on his chest.
and it must already be like, like I said earlier, the one-on-one back-to-back. Like, it's just like, damn, like, I'm slipping behind this dude. Like, even though if I make it past this week, it's like there's still like another week or two that I got to make it, past this dude who's seeming to be riding high. So, yeah, next
Right.
Xavier gets one, which I'm just like, wow, okay.
I was
Interesting.
surprised that Xavier got this second rose, but I also feel like they had to make both Joey and Aaron sweat because, like, Aaron really, was an early front runner and was the whole thing. And I think, they had to make Joey sweat because he was already sweating because he's all like, she, kind of was unresponsive when we were leaving. And, like, I feel like something must be up. Like, she might not be in it as much anymore. And he ends up getting that last rose, and Aaron B is going to be heading home.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Aaron B, but I couldn't feel too bad because, he made one of the cardinal rules of this game, and that is he wasted too much time focusing
Talking
on
about
other
people.
people when he should have been using that time to build his own relationship. Think about it. Like, every time now it was like drama, and it wasn't, other people, smart people were just staying out of it and using their time wisely. It's just this is an investment he made that didn't pay off for him. He
Right.
thought this was his way in. He got some validation like about those moves, and he kind of doubled down in some areas, and it just didn't work out for him, man. Like, it doesn't
Right.
work.
And I mean, that's even what she said is that, like, when it came down to it, like, she had just moved farther with the other men, but she was like, I could tell she felt a little torn because I think she still was like hanging on to that idea of like, well, how could I have thought that he was, my husband from that first date? Because she's like, am I making the wrong choice? Blah, blah, blah. But I mean,
yeah.
to me, it made sense that he also went home. Like, I kind of would have been surprised if I'm surprised that Xavier, I almost thought that she was going to just be all like, I'm keeping you all for like, the overnights. But I kind of, now I think that it might be like him or somebody else from this season that's going to come back to Fiji and not her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I think it could be Aaron. But we'll see what happens. I think it will come down to Joey and Dotun, and Xavier probably will be going home next week. But that's my predictions. I don't know, because they show a bunch of stuff of like her closing doors or whoever, and at first it almost makes like they're looking at like it's Dotun, but I just feel like they're trying to get us off the path where we also see like Xavier being on like, I don't know if I can like, I don't know if I'm ready for marriage or X, Y, and Z. And I just feel like I could see her sending him home before even the overnight. You know what? It's like, honestly, I was getting vibes from Joey too. Like he was trying to be like the next Bachelor or something like that. I don't know. There was something there where he was trying to be so perfect and stuff that like, if it doesn't work out with Charity, that they would pick him to be the next Bachelor. But I don't know. He was I kind of see what his uncle was kind of seeing a little bit there too. So I guess we'll just have to see in week 7 what ends up happening. Any final thoughts on this past week?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm like sort of disappointed that this season has been going by so fast because I feel like I haven't been able to like fully connect with like, or I feel like I'm really rooting for Dotun just because I think he's the best, but like I feel like I haven't been able to even fully connect with any of these top people as much. Like Xavier, I loved his like opening, his intro package. Like I just thought he was so sweet and fun and like whatever. And I feel like we've only seen glimpses of that. And I'm like, where I want the full package.
So we'll be back with more Bachelorette stuff next week. Before we wrap this up, is there anything going on in Bachelor Nation we should talk about?
Yes. So Yeah, so Special Forces is going to have a season 2 with a star-studded cast. So that was what Hannah Brown was on that in the first season. And I think she made it she either won or made it like really far. So it's like where they pretty much like run these reality stars through, different like
challenges.
Training exercise, army training exercises and stuff like that. But this one, I guess they filmed it during the winter or filmed it in a wintry place. I don't know. But they've got people, the main names that we see that are part of this are Tyler Cameron, Nick Viall, and Tom Sandoval will all be on the season 2, which, is interesting. I kind of wonder when they filmed it and everything because I wonder, how
seeing
that
Tom
affected.
Sandoval and Nick Viall in the same show, that's interesting stuff right there. I might have to check this out.
That's crazy. It's like they picked like the most like hated people from these different like reality spheres.
Yeah. Also, though, it would just be interesting to see a conversation between the two of them.
Between them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
totally. And Tyler Cameron
Viall's
just
been
eating his popcorn watching.
Yeah, well, because Nick Viall's been, literally, being like, whatever.
Yeah.
'Cause Nick Viall's been talking a lot about Tom Sandoval and his podcast and everything, and so, that would be crazy to see their combos. And
I'm
that's
sure
why
we'll
I
get
kinda
an
wanna know when it
interview
was
at
filmed.
some point, if they become friends from the show. But anything else going on?
So people have been speculating that, we've sort of talked about this, I think, in the past, that Kaitlyn Bristowe and Jason Tartick might be broken up because they both have been on like different trips and stuff without each other recently, and people keep like being all like, "Where's her ring?" in these photos, blah blah blah. But there hasn't been any legit things said about them. And Victoria Fuller and Greg made sure to post stuff to like each other's stories of them being together this past week or two, because there is all those rumors that they weren't together, but people are wondering if those were just staged. Which I feel like, why would you stage that if you broke up? But I mean,
there's an angle to that. Like, it does seem like something's off. But, when these influencers have things that they're promoting, what better way to promote, like, their last post than to, like, make it look like something might be off, so everyone's coming to check out something and getting more interaction.
Yeah, checking all their posts.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
You never know these type of tactics these guys be using just to make a little bit more cash. But, I don't know, that one does seem a little off. That one does seem a little off because you just saw them together all the time, and I don't know. I think it came on a little too hot, So eventually you just don't get to see all this stuff like jealousy or, anything, that could pop up and really ruin a relationship. So we'll just have to see. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back, next week with week 7 of The Bachelorette and any more stuff that might pop up. So, leave your comments. What do you think? Do you think, Kaitlyn Bristowe and Jason Tartick, I don't know why I say it like that, but Tartick, is that the way you say it? Are they broken up? Do you think they'll be for the long game? Do you think, are you excited to see Tom Sandoval and Nick Viall in the same show? How
long do you think Tom Sandoval is going to last in the Special Forces?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Let us know what you think. What do you think of Charity's Final 4 or Final 3 and the hometowns and stuff? Just let us know in the comments below so we can shout you out next week, and that'll be that.
Future Bachelor Podcast.